Breaking news. The Las Vegas Raiders have officially extended quarterback Geno Smith. Today, we're diving into what this extension means for the Raiders moving forward. And honestly, the Raiders made a brilliant move with this contract. Here's why I believe it sets them up for success in the coming years. First, let's talk about the importance of a quarterback's contract. The way a team structures the starting quarterback's deal can significantly impact its overall success. A well-structured deal can free up cap space for other areas, while a poor contract can hold a team back from building a championship roster. In this case, the Raiders have extended Geno Smith for 2 more years. According to NFL insider Jordan Schultz, the deal is worth $85.5 million, with $66.5 million guaranteed. That's a solid commitment to Smith for the foreseeable future. To break it down a little further, Geno Smith's new contract will run through 2026 and 2027, meaning the Raiders will pay him a total of $116 million over 3 years. That's a fantastic deal for both sides. If Smith stays with the team for the next 2 years, he'll earn $85.5 million during that time. For context, Geno's 2023 salary is already set at $31 million. So when you add the 2-year extension on top of that, his total earnings over the next 3 seasons come out to an average of $38.3 million per year. Now let's put that in perspective. There are 15 quarterbacks making more money than Geno Smith right now. To give you an idea of what that looks like, here are a few of the quarterbacks earning more than Smith. Kirk Cousins, $45 million, but he might be on the bench this season. Deshaun Watson, $46 million. His future with the Browns is uncertain. Kyler Murray, $46 million. Jared Goff and Tua Tagovailoa, both at $53 million. Dak Prescott, $60 million. In comparison, Geno Smith's deal looks like a bargain. At just $38 million per year, the Raiders have locked in their quarterback at a reasonable price for the next few seasons. This gives them the flexibility to build a stronger roster around him, which could make a huge difference when it comes to competing for championships. So, when you look at this deal overall, it's hard not to see it as a win for the Raiders. They secured their quarterback without overcommitting financially, giving them the freedom to make moves elsewhere on the roster. Geno Smith may not be one of the highest-paid quarterbacks, but his contract could very well help the Raiders build a more competitive team. As the Raiders look ahead, one thing becomes clear. Teams that can secure quarterbacks on affordable contracts, around $35 million to $38 million, are in a much better position to succeed. In fact, I'd argue that the number one way to win a Super Bowl isn't just about having a talented quarterback. It's about having a quarterback who's not taking up a disproportionate chunk of the salary cap. Take Patrick Mahomes, for example. The Chiefs are in the Super Bowl conversation every year. Mahomes is making $45 million per season, which may seem high, but it's actually $15 million less than what he could be earning given his talent level. That financial flexibility has helped the Chiefs build a competitive roster around him. In contrast, look at Dak Prescott. With a contract worth $60 million annually, the Cowboys are struggling. Similarly, Trevor Lawrence is set to earn $55 million a year, another example of poor value that could limit team success. For the Raiders, locking in Geno Smith at $38 million per year is a smart move. This contract allows the team to build around him, while still leaving plenty of cap space for other areas of the roster. It's a well-executed plan that can propel the Raiders forward in the long run. Thinking back to the last few years, the decision to part ways with Derek Carr was the right call. However, the real mistake was not securing a quarterback who could truly elevate the team. Instead, the Raiders brought in players like Jimmy Garoppolo, Gardner Minshew, and Aiden O'Connell, quarterbacks with little proven success. Sure, Jimmy G might have had success under offensive minds like Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay, but not every coordinator has that level of talent. Now, with Geno Smith in place, the Raiders are in a much better situation. Some might label him as a stopgap quarterback due to his age, 35 years old. And while that's understandable, I think it's important to note that Geno's tape speaks volumes. He's far more capable than other quarterbacks who were viewed as temporary solutions. Unlike Garoppolo, Minshew, or O'Connell, who each have limitations, Geno Smith has proven that he can perform at a high level. If the Raiders can continue to build a solid scheme around him, Geno Smith will be more than capable of leading the team to success. This isn't a case of settling for a bridge quarterback. This is a proven starter who can contribute to a winning team with the right system in place. One of the most impressive aspects of Geno Smith's new contract is that, at $38 million per year, he's now the 16th highest paid quarterback in the league. In today's NFL, many quarterbacks, whether they're truly deserving or not, demand top 5 money. For comparison, Jared Goff, who's currently the 7th highest paid at $53 million per season, arguably doesn't even belong in the top tier. In fact, Goff is 0-6 without top-tier coaches like Sean McVay and Ben Johnson. His success is heavily tied to having the best coordinators in the league, and contracts like his could ultimately hold a team back. For the Raiders, locking in Geno Smith at a reasonable value is a win. At $38 million per year, Geno's contract is well below his actual worth, and that gives the Raiders the financial flexibility to make other moves. Geno Smith at 16th overall in quarterback salaries means the Raiders now have extra cap space to strengthen other positions. Imagine what they can do with that extra room. Maybe they can spend $67 million on a top-tier wide receiver, or add an extra $15 million to their current tight end, Jakobi Meyers. They could even pair Smith with a guy like Amari Cooper to give the offense a big boost. These are the types of deals that give teams an edge and help them stay competitive without overspending on one position. That being said, there are still some unknowns. The Raiders still need to figure out their long-term quarterback solution. While this extension locks Geno in for the next 3 years, there's a chance the deal might be structured in a way that gives the team more flexibility than it seems on the surface. For example, they could front-load some of the guaranteed money, raising his cap hit for the current season while potentially freeing up room for future moves. In that case, the second and third years of the deal might not be as financially burdensome, allowing the Raiders to move on if needed. At this point, we don't have the full breakdown of the cap hits, dead money, or void years associated with this deal, so it's hard to say for sure what the long-term financial picture will look like. But overall, I love the direction the Raiders are heading. They've made a smart move with Geno Smith, but the key will be figuring out what comes next and making sure the long-term solution is in place. It's also worth noting that this extension keeps Geno Smith tied to PeteCarroll for the next 3 years as well. Carroll's contract runs through the same period, so it's clear the Raiders are planning for some continuity with both the quarterback and the head coach. Let's see how this plays out. But for now, the Raiders have set themselves up for success. I'm genuinely excited about the direction the Raiders are heading. Not only are they improving, but they're also making smart moves to lock down key positions for the future. Take Max Crosby, for example. His contract is incredibly team-friendly, which benefits the Raiders significantly. His cap hit this year is manageable, and while the final years of the contract are a bit more complex, the overall structure is favorable. It's the kind of contract that gives the Raiders flexibility without compromising long-term goals. With these types of deals, the Raiders are positioning themselves for long-term success. Now, I want to know what you all think about the Geno Smith extension. Some people on social media have suggested that the Raiders should still look to draft a quarterback, maybe someone like ShedeurSanders or even Jalen Milroe, even if it's not in the first round. The argument is that drafting a young QB would give them a long-term solution, especially with Geno being 35 years old. Personally, I'm not on board with that idea. Instead of reaching for another developmental quarterback, the Raiders should consider adding more immediate talent to strengthen the team. Look at what they did last year when they grabbed Jackson Johnson in the second round. If someone like Will Campbell, Charles Grant, or Anthony Ballon is available in the second round this year, those are day-one starting guards who can make an impact right away. Why not focus on positions that help the team win now? The Raiders' goal isn't to take a step back and build for the future. It's to improve this season and push for the playoffs. The idea of drafting a quarterback to sit and develop for the next few years doesn't fit the current window. The Raiders aren't waiting to contend in 3 or 4 years. They're looking to be competitive now. That said, it's important to recognize that this year may still be a bit of a learning curve. With a new offensive system in place under Chip Kelly, there will be plenty of adjustments to make. Players will need time to gel and get used to the new scheme. Some of the Raiders' key additions like Dylan PM, Alex Kappa, or Jordan Meredith will likely be starting, and it will take time to see how they fit in. But keep in mind that PeteCarroll isn't the type of coach to move on from guys too quickly. If things don't click immediately, he's not going to panic and make changes right away. He'll give players the chance to prove themselves, and that could mean a slower start to the season as everyone gets adjusted. Pete Carroll is also going to be focused on identifying which players have the right work ethic and who's showing up every day and putting in the effort. These decisions are going to be crucial, and I believe a lot of them will be made after this season. I wouldn't call this a wasted season by any means, but I'm not expecting the Raiders to win the Super Bowl this year. However, they will be competitive and will definitely be pushing for it. It's all about setting the foundation and seeing how things develop. Never say never, because anything can happen in the NFL, but this year might just be a stepping stone for bigger things ahead. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe for more updates. I'll catch you all next time with another video.